Because where God is taking you is far. He understands that and he knows that. So he wants you to go through process. There's a saying I tell people that are very close to me that progress is a process. You don't just progress, you have to go through that process. And through all these processes, that's where progress comes. Most times, we as individuals don't always want to go through process. Everybody wants to drive the biggest cars in the world. Everybody wants to live in the biggest houses. But the truth is this: for you to be able to sustain that level, you have to go through the process. Yes, like you said, I'm going to take a lot of cue from what you said, because as you were speaking, it was as though you had read everything I wanted to say. And it just shows that the Spirit of God is one. And God is indeed in this place. It's it's very funny how you'll be shocked that there are a lot of people that don't. You look at them, does it happen to you sometimes? I look at some people and be like, I feel the money this person has, this person doesn't merit this money. And over the time, you'll not be like, oh, why is it that I should be able to get what this person is getting? But the truth is, they have done something you have not done. And that's why you're able to be there. A lot of people are risk takers, and that's one of the fears a lot of people have. We don't like to take risk. Everybody wants to be in their confine. Everybody wants to be in their safe space. Everybody wants to be where nothing is going to happen. And then we want growth. We just want to sit down. We just want to stay in one place. Then manna from heaven will fall. Like you said, if money starts falling from this place, now will everybody stay here? No. Because obviously you didn't work for it. And that's why it looks like some people will get this money or get this breakthrough. And after a while, it looks like they're back to zero because they didn't go through their process. Most people avoid the process. And the truth is this: there are no, yes, we can say there are templates people can go through, but not every two-person story is the same. And the process God is going to take each and every one of us is different from the next person. So if you are looking at the other person's template to work to get yours, you'll be doing yourself a great disservice. Because the way God is going to work with that person is not the same way God is going to work with you. Because you guys are not going to the same end. So understand that for you to go from zero to surplus, you have to have a zero to surplus mindset. And that means that you must be ready to go on your own with God. Be ready to move solo. You must be ready to learn everything. So in 2010, I finished secondary school by God's grace. And everybody knows when you finish secondary school, what you want to do is get into university. That's always like the in thing for everybody. You want to get into university and, study and everything. And I was in secondary school. Well, I was popular in secondary school, not because of book, but because of the activities I do in school. I was always doing this one. And then we wrote JAM. And after JAM result came out, in the whole SS3 students, my result was seized. And do you know what that means? In a secondary school, automatically, even if you did not meet cutoff, you can enter maybe Polytechnic or College of Education. But what that means is everybody knows that what it means is you are going to defer 1 year. You are staying at home. So while in secondary school, before valedictory service, as we used to call it, it was already a stigma that by the time everybody were just 50, I could remember the number. Till I die, I always remember. Everybody would say, oh, what school are you going? I can't have that conversation because JAM result did not come out. So where am I going to? And I could remember vividly, I was in the room one night because my parents came and they were like, what happened? What did you do? What's this one, that one, that one? They said a lot of things. And I was like, oh, I don't know. In one of those nights, my daddy came to the room. And he woke me up. I was actually not sleeping. And he said God extensively told him that the reason why I did not pass that JAM, in a few years' time, they are going to find out. For me, I did not understand it. I was just a secondary school student. But I was happy. Do you know why I was happy? because of the fact that I know at least in that house, I can be able to watch TV because God has spoken to you. Abi? And when God has spoken to you, you cannot come and tell me that God did not speak. So I had the freedom. So all those ones that they say, oh, you failed jam. And that was what I could understand. And because right from primary school days, I was a tech geek. I like tech. When it comes to tech, anything tech, you'll find me there. But I did not know mathematics. So which means that going to secondary school, I could not be a science student. I had to be a commercial student, but I love tech. And so after secondary school, my dad came to meet me. I mean, during that time, what do you want to go and tell you to go and study computer? It's a normal thing. Desktop, how to do Mavis Bacon, all of those things. I don't know if we still do that till now. And I said I didn't want that I actually wanted the computer engineering. And it was like, why? You are not a computer student, I would say. I said, it's just what I wanted. And he allowed me. And that early enough, I was able to learn computer engineering. I went for a diploma just after secondary school. And God so good, the spirit of grace was upon me, all glory to God. And the teacher there just had a certain likeness for me. Like everybody I met there, he just developed a certain likeness for me. And he started showing me things. But I was very young. So what he would do is, this is how this one is done. We'll go, we'll do certain things, we'll come back, no account number. If we made 10,000 naira a day, we'll use 6,000 or 5,000 naira to eat, or 2,000 naira to eat. The rest, we'll have it in our pockets, we'll just squander it. And that continued for a while. But in my own head, it was a thing of, I'm making money every day, so that's fine. Then there'll be a week of drought, no business, but I didn't have money. And God started bringing me to understand something that every day is not the same. So as a person that you want to go far in life, you have to learn how to save. I was lucky enough to learn that early, but it didn't come easy also. And when the following year came, I think I wrote JAMB again. I had the high score this time. One thing happened, one thing. I had to be sent out of Lagos or Nigeria to go and study, and I went to Benin Republic. That's Republic of Benin, Cotonou, and my school was in Republic of Benin. And as at that time, my parents would send pocket money, but the pocket money was never enough because by the time we converted it to CFA and want to spend, there was nothing to do. There was a skill I knew, and that was repairing computers. Now, I was studying business administration, but I knew how to repair computers in a country that was not very rampant. And I sat down with it. And slowly, people would bring their computers, something that would not take time. I'll fix it for them. And people were, oh, okay, this guy is good at what he does. Slowly, I was building. Then, and I found out that people started needing devices in school. This was 2013. People started needing devices. Now, because of the fact that my boss then used to send us to Computer Village to repair all of those things, I had met one or two people. So, this is what I would tell them. The first customer that I had, and he said he needed phone. And he said, can you get the phone for me? I went to repair a computer for him apparently. I said, yes, I can. He said, are you sure? I said, no problem. He said, okay, get the phone for me and I will pay you. I said, that's where the problem is. You know what? Give me the money. I will get the phone for you. It was like, can I trust you? I said, by God's grace. So, they were selling that device for a particular amount in Benin Republic. I told him I would give him lower than that. I don't even understand what I'm trying to say. So I told him I was going to give him lower than that. When I told him I was going to give him lower than that, he gave me the money. And when he gave me the money in safe at that time, I converted it to Naira, and I came to Nigeria, got the device for him, went back, and I gave him that device. And he was so happy because it was lower than the amount he was going to get it for. And from there, slowly, I started building. People would look at me, word of mouth. There's someone that can get your device for you. If you pay today, by tomorrow, he will get that device for you. If you pay today, by tomorrow, he will get that device for you. And we started with that. So, it now got to a stage that I now started combining. So if you pay for device on Monday, I'll accumulate everything because I still have to go to school. It's not business I came to do. I have to go to school. So if you accumulate on Monday, you give me on Monday, I'll go on Wednesday. Then if you pay by Wednesday, you get it on Friday. Now, don't forget something. The reason why I started and people loved me was because there was time. So if you pay on Monday, you will get it on Tuesday. But that system was no longer possible. So which means that I had taken out the time that I had to use to be getting device. So if you pay on Monday, I give you on Wednesday. If you tell them that you're going to get a device on Wednesday, you can't get it on Tuesday again. You have to wait on Wednesday. And I slowly started noticing that people were changing. So I had to sit down with it and say, okay, how can we make this better? Now, one thing people don't know is this. There's something embedded in you. There's a skill, there's something you know that everybody don't know. That is your surplus. Most people don't know that there's something in you that you might not really pay attention to it because it's not something you have harnessed, but always use it to advantage. What did I know than anyone else in the circle? I knew the terrain of the market. I knew that I could call people in that place to get these things for me. I would give you at a cheaper price. I will get it to you in good time, and I'll give you value for their money. And slowly, I started. That's your ticket. Most people chase trends. They look for things that, once I do it in a small time, I'll be able to have amassed this type of wealth. But no, it doesn't work that way. Look for a system that you can stay with and stay with it yourself. Start small, but grow big. There's something you have with you that you know you can convert. Starting as a one-man person gives you that advantage. You'll be able to learn your process. A lot of people are not waiting to learn their process. Everybody just wants magic. Everybody wants magic. Your first product or first service doesn't have to be perfect. When I started, I didn't have logo. All I had was the fact that I could have people to trust me. There was no packaging, there was no branding, there was nothing. I just made sure that my name was what I used to start. Now everybody wants to start and they think that everything has to be perfect, it has to make sense at the initial point. But no, you are doing yourself a lot of disservice waiting for it to be perfect. Systems are never perfect. Even the system that you think is perfect, once you get into that system, it becomes imperfect. Everybody thinks, you have to, I have to get the packaging right, I have to do this one. And the truth is this, for a terrain you have never done, if you start with so much, you'll not be able to balance. Because what is meant to come to you as the encouragement now becomes pressure. You want to sell, you want to do this one, you want to do that one, and you find out that what is meant to come as your small good that you're meant to be enjoying, you are getting satisfied from it. But when you start with it as a process, okay, I'm learning on this job. I'm getting better at it. What do I need to do better? So I found out that going every 3 days could not work any longer. Because people could no longer wait 3 days to get their devices. 3 days was already a lot of time. The reason why they were doing business with me initially was if I give you my money, by the next day, I get my device. But now you're telling me that if I pay on Monday, I have to wait till Wednesday. My money is with you. Everybody knows how people are with money. Once I give you my money, I want a product. But you're telling me to trust you. What if stories enter? And I looked at it. And that's why it's very important when you are starting by yourself, also take feedbacks very seriously. Most often than not, when we are starting, we don't like taking feedbacks because we feel it's a dissatisfaction to our business. But the truth is this, when you take feedback seriously, it will help you know what you have to improve on. So what did I do? I came back to Nigeria and I went to suppliers and I said, you know what? I want these devices every day, but I cannot pay for these devices every day. I've been able to build trust in you for you to know that if I give you this money, I will get this device. And what did I do? I struck a deal. I said, you know what? if I pay for 2 devices, give me one extra. Between the first 2 days, because I know the ones that are fast-moving products, MVP, I'll be able to take it along. Once I sell it over there, I will send your money to you, and we are good. There was a bit of hesitation. How am I sure you believe you me? And they did it the first time. And for a product I had promised to pay in 2 days, by the time I got back into school, someone will just call, oh, I need this device. And I'll tell you, yes, it's available. When will I get it? I'll tell you, you get it today. So the person said, if I give you the money now, are you sure I'll get it today? Yes, you'll get it today. And from there, I developed another system. That means that I had not stayed with where I started. I trust my process, looked at the feedback, and made a good use of it. Are we understanding? So what happened? And then it was going like that. I think we did that for about 6 months. It was going fine. And now, referrals had increased. So what I did was, if you now want to get it that same day, you will not pay the same amount everybody's paying. You are going to pay slightly higher. Because of the fact that the people I collect it from, I don't get to pay them extra money. But the thing is, I made sure I was that bridge that was connecting. Now, don't forget that all of these products, I'm not the one that produced them. What did I do? I betted on my advantage. I knew that I had the advantage of speed, I had the advantage of connection, I had the advantage of time, and I had the advantage of trust. So what did I do? I stayed there. But I made sure I created a system that was growing. That way, I was now going to Lagos just once a week. So if I go, I take extra. From the person that was releasing 1 to me, he was able to start releasing 4. Was able to start releasing 5. And I made sure I did not default. Hello? Now, he now got to the stage that business has gotten bigger. So which means that even if he releases 4, I get to sell it within 3 days. But I still have to travel back to pick. Don't forget, Lagos to Benin is intercountry. Is not, so which means I spend about 4 hours on the road going and another 6 hours coming back because of border and everything. So what did I do? I looked at the system again. I think we have outgrown this system. How can we make this system better? So I told the person over there, what is it going to cost if I want someone to be bringing devices to the border every day? When they bring it to the border, I collect it from them. I will have collected the money people paid. I'll wait at the border. I will change it to Naira. I send it to the account. Once you confirm the payment, the person leaves. Do we understand? So what they will do is, before the night, by night, all the order for that day, I'll have collected everything. Everybody will have paid. I will send it to the supplier. These are the orders I need for 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. They will have collected it. 6 a.m., the person will have set out. By 7:30, 8, thereabouts, the person will have been at the border. I will have collected their money, gone to the money changer. Mind you, I'm making money from the extra money I'm changing because they are paying in Sefa. By the time I convert Sefa to Naira, I'm already all right. By the time I pay in Naira, I'm already okay. So what they did was, let's try that system, but we'll not try with bulk first. Let's try with 4 devices or 3. Then they will bring, I'll go to the border, make payment to the account, I'll take the devices in. So which means if you paid the night before, no matter the number of devices, you will get it the next day. And I tried that system, and it worked. So they now start bringing, increasing the quantity. People started trusting. Don't forget that the people that had bought before, that wanted to swap also, I will have that one as an advantage to myself. So I'll collect your old device. I'll tell you, yes, I'll collect it. Give you a new one. You add difference. And that was how I... Now, everything I said now looked like it happened within 3 months. No. It actually happened within 4 years. All the while I was in school. But I was able to look at it that it is not the way I started, I ended. But I was able to know that it's a process. And the more I understood this process, the more it worked for me. Didn't mean there were no mistakes. So. Didn't mean that we did not have some bad days. Because there might be some devices they will bring that was not perfectly okay, that will have to return. But I was able to build capacity. And because it was my own process, I was able to trust it. Do you know why? Because as I was growing, I was noting down my mistakes. I had gotten better at it, and I was able to build trust in myself. The thing about it is, so if you come tomorrow and you tell me that, or if I tell you that there is no business by God's grace I cannot start, it's not because I'm just saying it because I want to say it. It's because I had gone through it, I have used the process, and the process has worked. So if I'm telling you, I'm not speaking from a place of let's try. I'm speaking from a place of we have done this in the past, it has worked. If you are going to go from zero to surplus, you must be able to believe in yourself. Most people find it hard to believe in themselves. And instead of them to look at what is in depth, they look at what someone else is doing so that they can copy. But the truth is, you did not know what that person has been through before they got to that stage. You did not know how many hurdles they have had to pass. You did not know how many challenges they had to face. All you can see is the glitz and glamour. And then you look at what you see online and you want to copy. And obviously it will not work because the blueprints they had, you never had it. So if you are going to scale a business, learn to trust your process. And believe you me, it doesn't have to be perfect at the initial. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you are looking for it to be perfect, you are going to do yourself a lot of disservice. So what you should be concerned about is how you will solve a problem, not sell a product. Most people are concerned about how they will sell a product, not solve a problem. When I started, everybody, has different places to go get devices. But I looked at it, that what's the problem I could solve? First, I made sure that you trusted me as a person. Then I made sure I had speed. And when I noticed the speed was not as what it used to be, believe you me, I had an excuse to tell people that, after all, I'm studying in school. I cannot meet up with what it used to be before because there are more customers now. But I looked at it that eventually I'll lose all of these people because what I started with or what people knew me for, I'm slowly deviating from it, giving excuses. But what did I do? As the system is getting bigger, I'm also getting fatter. People want it when you solve their problems. People want it when they can come to you, I need this laptop for so to do my project. And you are telling them, no problem, by tomorrow I'll get your laptop for you. My charge is 7,000 CFA. Before product comes in, how you solve a problem matter. And as much as possible, when you get to that stage, build systems over stress. Build systems over stress. Most people think it's about working hard. I like the analogy he gave when he was saying that there are some people on his farmland that are clearing 35 acres now. He may have built the system. They are working hard. He is working smart. So for whatever they think they had made with hard work, he has made multiples with smart work. So much more that by the time you want to build abundance, money is not abundance. And if you want to build abundance, you have to build capacity to be able to accommodate that abundance. Most people, what we are building now is just, I can see money to buy airtime, do this one. And no, you are just moving in a circle. And before you know it, time has gone. 10 years, you have not left the same spot. Yes, you are seeing money to eat, but then again, is that what God has in stock for you? And he said it's like a scroll. It's when you are done with one, God will release another level. It's when you are done with another one, before it becomes big. But if the little one he has given you, you've not made the best use of it, how will he be able to trust you to release so much more for you? So what did I do? I built systems. So much more that I didn't even have to come to Lagos, Nigeria again during the week. I was doing my classes. When they get to the border, I had a rider waiting. I had money changer that would send the money, give it to the rider, change the money, give it to them, deliver it to school. I was doing so much more than, and I became the favorite for lecturers. Lecturers became my friend. They were buying from me. I was so popular in school. That's actually where the name Abuki came from, but I'll not share the story today. I was so popular in school that people were not able to trust the process because they knew where I started from. So it was not a thing of, can you deliver? It was a thing of, go and meet him. Don't worry, you are trust. But it didn't just get there. It started with one person. And from that one person, I did not stay with just that one person. No. I moved. So if you want to build capacity, zero to surplus, see, you have to go through the process and you cannot skip it. He can only compress time for you, and this is why this conference is now. So that some of the things that took years, for you, it will take a shorter period. Hello? And also another important thing, document everything. Document it. I have notes on my phone as far back as 2014, 2015. I was going through it with my wife yesterday, and I was like, see how far God has brought us from. See how far. I knew when it was a struggle. There was the time in Computer Village that every week I was going to buy new Dunlop slippers or palm because of walking from this place to this place, looking for best deal, blah, blah, blah. But see how far God has brought us. Also, tech is your first employee. Now it's better because AI, automation, everything, it's now better to have system and everything in place. Leverage on it. You don't have to first you don't have to start by hiring someone first. Start with yourself. Your CRM sheets, your inventory, everything. For me that time, I think one of so after that time, before I move to that, I want to talk about how I transitioned to Nigeria, because after that 4 years, that system worked in Benin, but that system could not work in Nigeria. So when I left school, I came back to Nigeria. Now it's a different ballgame entirely. People could blind buy that time because they could not have access to come. But this time, everybody is in the country. They can't blind buy. So it's a thing of sitting down with it and say, how can we get better? So I went for another diploma, because, believe you me, when it comes to knowledge, I stop at nothing to gain knowledge. And I was like, okay, what can I do? So I went for another diploma in mechanical engineering to learn about cars. Like I said, anything tech, you will find me there. And once it has to do with tech, for me it was an hobby, but I just monetized it. So you are paying me for what I love to do. And I'm making money off it. So after I was done with that, I was learning about automobiles and everything. And where I was learning, there's no how. I would talk about devices to you and everything. And we moved, and I came to Computer Village. Don't forget the supplier that time that I built a relationship with. It took me in. So if customers from school came, I have someone that was selling in school. Let me call him if he's still selling now, because all of us have left school. And they'll call me, and I'm like, yes, come. I'll manage with you and everything. And I was doing all of that. I was trying to get better. Sales were not as, big as it was that time, because this is a new terrain. This is a new ball game entirely. Now you are playing with the big wig. That time you didn't have competition because it was in another country. But now you have serious competition. And I was like, what can I use as my advantage? If there's one thing I know how to do well, is how to honor. And I know people love respect a lot. So even if it's a charger you want to buy from me, I'll make sure I'm the one that attends to you myself. You will sit down, I'll buy food for you and everything. So when he was saying the fact that it took Amper to the person that I bought land, I could relate 100%. Because people will look at it that, what am I buying that it's so big that you have to give me this much respect? But what you don't know is that you're actually sowing a seed in their hearts. That anywhere they are, and they mention someone that needs, they feel it's a payback they have to give you for the good you have done for them. So what they do is, they will not mention your name in the place that matter. I have someone that does this. Yes, so I have someone that does that. And from managing with, so if you now come and I attend to you outside, people that are passing might match you, but you not look at that. You look at the fact that the person that wants to actually attend to you is a nice person. So I took over, that time it was OLX. So I'll be posting on OLX, If they say you don't want to come, I'll come. But a time was going, I think after about 1 year, I outgrew their system. And let me tell you why. Because of the fact that it's people from OLX that might find you, there was a problem of going to deliver to them. Then customers will call that they want to come to the office. And I want to attend to them. So what was I going to do? So I called one of my old-time friends, 15 years ago. We've been friends for over 15. So I called him and I said, guy, Alpha, you know I'm doing this business. And I want you to come and join me in this business. So much more that if I go and do delivery outside, you can sit down with the people that we have internally and you can attend to them while, don't worry, I'll bring the customers, but we'll share the profits 50-50. Very stupid, Abby. Yes, I know. But because I needed, at that point, that was the best idea I could have thought about. And he was like, okay, we'll think about it. I even told him I was going to buy a phone for him. And because we learned computer engineering together, I felt it was not going to be difficult to bring him up to speed. And he was like, okay, he wants to come and see me. I was already happy that at least I have someone that will be sharing profit together. So which means that by the time he's attending to customers, I can go for delivery. Or if he goes for delivery, I can attend to customers. And he came. And he sat down. And he said, Lekon, at this point in my life, I think, he was telling me too, he said, I think you need to be doing things that you have to live a more focused life. That was the exact words. He said you have to live a more focused life. You're a graduate, BSc holder, and you are here hustling, selling phones with people inside Computer Village. Don't you think that's bad? Another point, I cried though. Because for me, I thought I was doing everything right. But then again, this is someone that, we grew up together. I felt you understand the business. And that brings me to my next point. Not everybody has to be part of your dream. Just because you guys grew together. And because I understood that, it was dissatisfying to me. And I got home that night and I went to speak to my parents. And that's why it's very good to have good parents. So people in this house that have daddy and mommy, you don't know the advantage of what you had. Because at that point, I was at a crossroad. Anything anybody could have said to me at that point could have solidified what I was feeling. If one more person had come, if I told the person that this is what this person said, and that person has said something like, truly, what this person is true, do you know that I would have left that business? Or there's a possibility I would have left it. And I got home and I told my parents, I was like, because my parents knows this person. I was like, this is what I did. This person, I called him for us to do this. And I asked my mom, do you think I'm actually living a non-focused life? And I asked my mom. And she was cooking. She didn't answer me for like a minute. So I wanted to be sure she heard what I was saying. And these were the words of my mom. She says sometimes when God is doing something in our favor, at first they look like mistakes. But eventually, you would know why. And when she said that, that felt like cold water that just, it doused everything. Coincidentally, I had bought the phone I was going to give him that day for us to start the business together. It was an iPhone 5S, either 5S or 5C. I can never forget. And after he had said all those things to me, he asked me again, are you still giving me the phone? Okay, should I say the truth? I actually gave him the phone. 6 months later, he came to sell the phone back to me because he could not eat. And he came to beg that opportunity that I gave him that time. For 5 years, he was still begging that could he come back. Because shortly after that time, this happened around March. I can never forget. And by God's grace, I was already. Then the person that God had put, which was the supplier, called me one day and said, I've seen your resilience. I've seen how much you put effort into all of these things. His shop was Suits 18. There was an empty shop at Suits 19. And he said, this is the key to this shop. I know you don't have any phone to put there and everything. But open the shop and be using that shop for your business. Don't worry, eventually, God will fill it up. And they opened the shop. I can never forget. The day I was going to open that shop, I had just 3,000 or 4,000 in my account. And people were so happy that finally this person has been able to. And I looked at it. That was my first shop. That was 20 Otigba Street. I don't know if people are really conversant with Computer Village here. That was 20. It was a very small shop. Oh. And I stayed there. And small. I got my first staff. His salary was 20,000 naira. But I now told him, I said, you know what? I'll be giving you a salary every week. To him, it was an advantage. But to me, it was the fact that I didn't want to put myself under pressure. 5,000 every week is easier than 20,000 at the end of the month. And slowly I started. I started giving him the 5,000 naira. And to cut the long story short, except I want to be an ingrate, from then up till now, God has never disappointed me. And that's why I want to tell everybody here today. All of these stories will not be complete without the God factor. Because I will be the greatest ingrate to say that God was not in the picture all along. And about 10 years later, my dad called me. And he said, do you remember so and so night that I came into your room and said this, that, blah, blah, blah? He said, eventually, can you see why that jump form or that jump result had to be delayed? And the way God does things is that when he does it, he eliminates every iota of doubt, that you would fully know this is God. God doesn't like sharing his glory with anybody. God doesn't like sharing his glory with anybody. Once he does anything, he does it full-fledged. And God is the best person you can partner with. According to Romans 8 verse 31, that said, what shall we say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us? Now, imagine people outside the world are able to do businesses and thrive with it without God. Imagine you now starting something and having God as your backing. Is that not a great advantage? But most often than not, we always think that by our strength, we can do all of these things. The Bible said, by strength shall no man prevail. No matter how much you think you can be good at anything, if you don't have God with you, it's just like the story of the Israelites, where it's meant to take 40 days, you might end up toiling for 40 years. And the thing is this, at every point in time, let's pray to God to open our eyes of understanding. Because we might think, yes, I was able to think about it. But there's a way when you're working with God, it makes you see what others are not seeing and use it to your advantage. So much more that you grow with it, you stay with it, it becomes your process that takes you from your zero to your surplus. So at every point in time, let's be connected to him. Because he's the only one that can even make things better. Making sure that at every point in time, we are constantly connected to that source. Because the thing about that source is, it never runs dry. And there's so much more from where that comes from. The more you make use of it, there's a reason why God gave, in the Bible, I use this analogy a lot. For some, he gave 5 talents. For some, he gave 2. And for some, he gave 1. It was according to their capacity. They were all the same. But he was able to look at them and say, you've been able to do this, take this. And the one that buried it, when they brought it, who did he give it back to? The one that had 5. Which means that one has been able to build more capacity to accommodate more. Do you know God could have given him 10 at the initial stage? But he had not gotten that capacity. And when he had gotten that capacity, what did God do? God made the capacity bigger. So my brothers and my sisters, believe you me, if I can do it by God's grace, there's nobody here that cannot do it. The idea is not to have money. The idea is to be in surplus. The idea is to have wealth. The story in the Bible of the oil, the widow that God poured the oil into their jars. When it was a small bottle, do you know when the oil stayed? It was when all the jars were already filled up. Which means that if they did not get as much as that jar, that oil will have stayed. Which also means that if they had gotten more jar than they had gotten, God was still able to fill it up. So most often than not, don't shortchange yourself to the advantage you can have as a person. If you can think about it in your ear, it's okay if it doesn't make sense at the initial stage. Because when God is taking you through a process, it's a progress. And there's a reason why you have to crawl before you walk. It's because you have to be able to understand where your strengths lie in first, then be able to grow with it. If there's something in your hands that you know that God has embedded in you, grow with it. Stay there. And constantly make sure you are connected to that source. Because for everything you need, God has given. God is not creating again. No. According to see, on the 6th day, He was done creating. So which means anything you need for life and purpose is around you. You just need the inner eyes to be able to open and see the opportunities. God needs to open their eyes that when everybody is having challenges with this. Yes, I started with phone business. But the truth is, I've not stayed here. Right now, I've not been to any of my stores in a year. If I go, it just breeze in, breeze out. Because God has helped us create systems and structure that caters to the people that now have to trust me, no longer have to trust me again. Because it has gotten to that point that they now trust the brand. But there's a possibility I will have also still stayed. That is when you give me money that I'll buy for you. As long as I'm seeing the money to load airtime, the money to feed, and I'll have stayed there. But as Lord was opening my eyes of understanding, we are able to see the opportunities. And as we are growing with it, and believe you me, I've not still started yet. I'm still scratching the surface. Because I know from where this one came, there is so much more from there. The well never runs dry. That's why it's called a well. The deeper you can dig into it, the more you can get from it. So if we're going to take anything from here today, is the fact that, don't shortchange yourself of opportunities. Don't shortchange yourself of what you can achieve. Make sure it's what you see. Stay with it. Build passion. Build resilience. And as you are expanding, build systems and structure to accommodate it. So much more that as you are getting your roots deeper, your branches and your leaves are going higher. And I pray may the Lord help us in Jesus' name. Thank you very much.